So now we're going to look at CSIS training Berkeley High and focus more on departmentalized courses. And so what I'm going to do is filter for course number. And I have a numeric listing of the courses from the highest to the lowest. And so the first thing we'll point out is, again, anything that's not State Course Code 1000 is a departmentalized course. This is typical of middle school and high school grades. Students usually receive their instruction single subject at a time in various periods, and this is what's represented through these course sections. You can see that this teacher, Lady Bird Sacramento, has two separate course sections that is taught, and they could represent two different periods. One would be chemistry, the other would be biology. You can see that there. They have unique course section IDs, unique local course IDs. The only thing common is the staff members' demographic information, because single staff is teaching the course. There even is the possibility that this chemistry class is providing EL services while this biology class isn't. And although the education services are based on the staff members' credentials, it's also determined by the curriculum provided. And so if you have a class that specifically does not provide EL services, even though the teacher is authorized, you would not indicate that services are provided. However, if the teacher is authorized and services are intended to be provided, that would be reported through the Education Service Code. And so if we focus in on teacher Marky Mark Funky Bunch, we can see that there are two Algebra 1 courses here. They have the same local course ID. That means these two classes are tied together. They have individual sections. So that means this algebra course and this algebra course have the same content, right? Same local course ID. That means all the fields that start with CRS must correspond with each other. There are others that we demonstrated earlier, but they're unique, right? These different sections would indicate possibly different periods or different times in which the course is delivered. And then the class IDs are different, which indicates that different groups of students receive this instruction. So if you had a teacher that was teaching the same subject over different periods, this is how it would be represented in CalPads. And then this is a math teacher, of course, that's the theme here. And Marky Mark Funky Bunch also has a geometry class that is taught. And again, the course section ID and the class ID here are different. So these would be three different periods. Now, there are times which you have a block class or some kind of hybrid class where there are two subjects taught to a single class, right? And so in this example, we have an English literature class and a world literature class, right? We know that they're taught to the same class because there's a single class ID. So this group of students is receiving this instruction together, right? Like I said, it could be some kind of model where you have 2.5 hour block, or perhaps it's some type of hybrid, right? And you're covering two subjects that are departmentalized. So to account for that, you'd report the courses the same way you would report any course, right? The state course code is going to map to the specific content outlined by the state standards. The local course ID is going to be unique. Then you have your typical course name. This is, the normal name, your academic term, and then the course sections They're two separate course sections in this example. They don't have to be, but in this example, we're showing different content, right? And then it's a single class. They don't break up. So this single class of students is receiving multiple content in this example, and it's provided by the same instructor. Further, you can see that we've used a state course code 9130 English literature, and then specified even greater with the sub-content category code. So let's look at that. So 9130 is world languages. And because this record has validated and posted, I know that it required a sub-content category code. And in here you see Italian. And so world languages is your typical foreign language instruction. And then we're specifying which language is being taught by the sub-content category. And so if it was a different language class, French perhaps, or German or Greek, Hindi or Hmong, we would specify that with the sub-content category code. Okay, so now let's go to the next page. And here we can see that we have three classes in order, right? 7246, 7247, and then the 7249 course. We know because they're in the 7000 series that this course is related to career technical education, or it's the CTE course. And then we can see by the course name, we get an idea that it's a pathway, right? We have Intro to Media Production 2, and then Media Production 3. So this looks like a 3-course pathway. And while CTE data is collected for end of year 1, if this was fall 2, it's reported as such just because anytime you report a course, you have to meet all the requirements. And so this CTE course and any other CTE course has to have all the fields required of CTE courses populated. So CTE courses are indicated or designated by the CTE state course code. You can see 7246. Anything in the 7000, 8000 series are CTE courses. Then the CRS CTE post-secondary articulated course indicator must be populated because it's a CTE field. The CTE course provider code is populated with the ROP center because, again, it's a CTE field, so it's required for the CTE course. And then finally, we have to indicate whether or not the course is a high-quality CTE course. And so CTE courses have additional requirements based on the type of course, but other than that, all other fields must be populated as any other course. So does the course provide EL services? That has to be populated. Is it independent study or distance learning? That had to be populated. Everything's the same. Do the content standards align to the current standards, prior standards, or no standards? No exception here. Everything has to be populated as a normal course. Does the course meet UC-CSU requirements, the A through G requirements? What level is the course, right? What grade standards? Is it K through 4, 5 through 8? Is it not applicable? Is it secondary, right? So CTE is treated like any other course. Now we have an independent study course, and there's 2 ways to report independent study. You can opt to report course code 1000. Say it's a self-contained course, multiple subjects are taught in the single course and reported as such. The preferable way, especially for secondary level courses, would be to report them as departmentalized, representing each section, each topic individually. You'd want to specify if that student was in algebra and also receiving an English 9 course. We'd want to account for the sciences by biology or chemistry. Self-contained does not provide specific course content that departmentalized courses do with your high school and middle school students. And so I do want to reiterate that the preferred method for independent study instruction to be reported is departmentalized. So yes, you'd have a single teacher like Marky Mark Funky Bunch and several course sections, even though that students or those students are in an independent study program and may have a single class ID representing that group of students. Each section would be broken out as a departmentalized course. And this is no departure from the guidance in years past. I just want to emphasize that there's two ways to report independent study. And if you need a little bit further detail, there's a section on it in the CalPAS data guide. So that concludes the demonstration of examples and typical course reporting scenarios. Again, if you have any questions or have any scenarios that you would like illustrated in future trainings, please submit a service ticket, request the scenario that you would like explained and demonstrated, and we will try to include it in future CalPAS trainings. Thank you.